Our next speaker is Joan Dunham, who's going to talk about a video recorder system that's all digital, doesn't use analog cameras, that she's been developing for some time or investigating.
I and many others. I think this started, my interest in this started with Steve Preston, what, a year ago or 2 years. Well, as you can see, there's a number of co-authors. We found a number of different problems. I am by no means doing this by myself. Wouldn't have been able to do anything without a lot of help from a lot of other people and suggestions and ideas. Okay, but this is based on software that Russ McCormick has recently completed. We were testing it, and so here's some results from the test version and now the final version. And at the end, I will show two systems set up on the table, both of which were used to observe the grays the other night and were successful. Next slide. Okay, now release 1 of the software is now available. It's on the website. It's freely available to anybody. The purpose of this presentation is just to show some of the equipment we've used and discuss what kinds of equipment are needed, describe what we've learned, and inspire others to try using this software. Next. Oh, okay. All right. All right. Okay. Is that better? Computer-based recording systems. It's a Windows-based system. It needs a Windows desktop or a laptop and video capture device. And the advantage is that most of us already have access to a computer. The screens are easy to read. You can capture and reduce videos on the same computer if you use a desktop. And the disadvantage is the desktops need a power outlet. We're very reluctant to leave our laptops out there in the field if we were trying to set up remote stations. But it's a good way to begin if you've never done it before. Trying to use a Windows tablet with a USB video capture code. I'm not sure what my machine is beeping at me for. It's self-contained and very portable, and the screens on older or used and cheaper models can be very difficult to read, and there's really high costs for some of the new models. We were kind of shocked about what happened with the costs. The minis are stick computer with associated support, a keyboard, an HDMI monitor, plus a USB video capture cable. It was very portable, very discreet in operation, as you can remove the monitor and the keyboard and then just leave this little nondescript thing sitting out there. But it's a single-purpose machine, pretty generally, that they're not that capable, and portable screens can be a little difficult to read. Now, that one I've managed to buy is not, but others I've seen are. And you also need to have some expertise with putting together computer stuff. Dave referred to this, and actually I was quite pleased to see the observation. One of these, the iView Windows 10 stick computer system, which I call OCT2 in my system, using the video recorder. One of the second test version, and your recorder program and missed the reappearance, but and this was the setup showing in our backyard with a tomato plant sitting behind. That's the computer. The iView. It's on the table. It's very small. I have the OCT1 system, the Start Digital digitizing system that we use. That's sold by Amazon. I bought mine for $53.37. Recently, they've increased the price because they're quite popular. Okay, yeah, there's an old model, and I have the old model. The new model is, as Steve Preston says, it's still about $50. It has, I guess, slight more capability. I'm not sure what the difference is. And just a moment. Bob, these are available online. You don't have to photograph it. And if you can't read the PowerPoint, I can give it to you as a PDF. Oh, well, there'll be lots of time. Oh, well, there'll be lots of opportunity. The second computer system was the Kangaroo mobile display, and that actually, when we get around to showing the demonstration, that's what I'm using right now for the demonstration. And that computer costs $99. And I'm sorry, I'm getting confused of which view graph I'm looking at. This one has the OC1 has the Kangaroo, which is $99. That needs a HDMI monitor and a keyboard to be purchased externally, and a mouse. It has an internal battery, but it needs additional support to run for a long period of time. And it has 2 standard USB ports. To run it, I also needed to purchase the cable to go from the HDMI monitor, a power pack for some external power, and a wireless optical mouse and keyboard, which I've had to replace since I put this together. Next. The second item was the OC2, which is the one that was in the picture earlier. That's the iView Cyber PC computer stick. That one was another $99 purchase from Newegg. It has no internal battery, but it needs an external monitor. It has its own wireless keyboard with a pointer device for the mouse. It has 2 micro USB ports. One is dedicated to the wireless dongle for the keyboard, so there is one USB port for other things, and an adapter for since it's a mini USB, you need to have an adapter to go to a standard size USB, and of course a battery pack. So the next. And then both systems, in order to operate, can use the same monitor. Since you don't leave the monitor out when you're observing, you can take a monitor from site to site and set the systems up. The one I have is called the Best View 7-inch. It's a digital field monitor to use for professional videotaping, professional news cameras and so forth. And this particular one is kind of a knockoff version, cost $99. And it takes a Sony L series battery. The official Sony battery prices and chargers and so forth are very high. I was really shocked at how expensive they could be. You can easily spend $1,000 to reproduce this setup and get nothing better than what we've already got. So I was really surprised. But in the end, I'm not even using the battery that I got for the monitor. The monitor is a very highly power-intensive device, and I found that the inexpensive battery that I purchased was just not capable of running it. These ICANN series battery and charger just really aren't adequate for the job. But anyway, these 2 systems total cost was $560. So, which is what a lot of people wanted to know. And here's a picture of what I call OC1. You see for scale, I have the ruler in the middle of the picture, and then a mouse and keyboard, battery, the cable. The StarTech digitizer is also very small, and the monitor on its stand. Next. And the OC2, also a very small system. Here's the ruler for a scale. The keyboard is actually quite small. The battery, StarTech, and again the monitor. Let me sit this thing down. So Steve Connard said this is a little expensive. Let's see what we can do if we try to really cut down the cost. So he went online and found an HP Stream 7 for $70 on eBay, which was actually a new system that's being accessed, I suppose. And
Joan, the company that has those, I think, has 30 more.
The company.
So I turned it on and said, file your warranty information.
Well, he says that there's 30 more still waiting to be purchased out there on eBay from the same company. The list price for the current, quite a bit more capable HP tablet is now starts at $330, and Dell has similar ones that start at $400. So it's an incredible increase in price, which is the okay. And he also had to do an Amazon purchase for an SD card to get a little extra memory and some cables, and his total cost was about $115 for one station. And if I wanted to add also, if you already have an IOTA VTI and an appropriate camera and own a laptop or a PC to use for a video capture, you can get yourself together a computer-based system with the purchase of a $20 used digitizer cable from eBay. So if you just want to try this,
Just make sure you use one of the ones that we tested out.
yeah. So digitizer, Steve Preston reminds me to remind people that use one of the digitizers we've tested out. And if you want to know which ones it is, send us an email and we will, or just post a question about it. And because I bought more than the ones that I mentioned, I've bought others which did not work at all, so, or were completely inadequate to the job. So it is an interesting process. By the way, I discovered last night playing around with the video capture software and these cables. You can use them to digitize video, period. I mean, so I was digitizing the videos that David made with his cameras. So that's very useful. Next. The software, the video capture software, runs on Windows. I'm sorry about that, any problems people with Apple have, or Linux systems, but it is a Windows-based piece of software. It's purpose-built for occultation recording with standard security camera. I don't know, does it work with PAL? It works with NTS. It should work with PAL? It should work with PAL. There's no camera control from the software, so it won't work with the USB cameras that require camera control. And it's free, which is a nice price. Virtual Dub is another piece of software that's also a general purpose video recorder. It's no longer supported, and it only runs on, it is free, but it only runs on some Windows computers. On 2 of my 4 Windows 10 computers, it will not run. So it's exactly why I don't know, but it's not supported, and so that's just the way it is. Lagarith codec is, if you want to compress your videos, use the Lagarith codec because it's noiseless. Lossless, I'm sorry, lossless. It's also free. I haven't been using that. I've used, all of my videos are uncompressed. And you can also use, if you don't want to use any of those, standard general purpose video recording software, but those generally have a lot of capabilities that pretty much get in the way when you're trying to record an occultation video. So I think it's much better to use one of these, to use the IOTA video capture, and then if you want to pretty up your videos for any reason, then you put that into the fancier Adobe Premiere or whatever else it is you're using. Next. I wanted to go over a number of lessons learned, and I think we'll probably get some more from the audience and from my co-authors as I go. One of the first lessons I learned when trying to work with video capture is minimize external communications during an observation to reduce the chances of dropped frames. Use the airplane mode, minimize requests to update as much as possible. You need to do it for any Windows system used to capture video, from desktops to these little minis. Because I had some trouble while I was in Indonesia trying to do testing for recording the eclipse, that my test was occurring at midnight for the laptop's time, and it wanted to update the clock, it wanted to look for Windows updates. It was not, there were no Wi-Fi available. So the repeated attempts to find Wi-Fi made me drop something like 10 frames in a row, and it was quite disruptive. um, you set the computer, tablet, mini computer, whatever, to never sleep, so that it does not go to sleep on you and halt the video. You need to limit the use of the USB ports to incoming video to also avoid problems with communications, dropping frames, whatever. And manage your disk storage to avoid disappointment so that you don't find yourself running out of storage in the middle of a recording. And so you need to always check the available storage before trying an event. And do the data reduction on a computer with a full-size screen. It's very difficult to do on these little screens. And of course, you need to learn how to do backups, create restore points, roll back with restore point, and restore files. That's always necessary. And in fact, last night, I had to restore my laptop computer because an update didn't complete somewhere and destroyed my ability to use a couple pieces of software. It was like I could not turn it off. It was really interesting. Next. Video recordings can exceed the 4 gigabyte limit for the USB memory sticks, USB SSDs, solid state device, or external HD is needed. Thumb drives use the FAT32 file format. You can reformat it to exFAT or NTFS as possible, but that limits the uses of the thumb drives. Some systems won't accept that.
exFAT is okay on Mac.
exFAT is okay on Mac. Using video compression is a choice, not a requirement. David Dunham, that is, and I don't happen to like to compress, so we try not to as much as possible. But other people do use it, and if it's lossless, it's perfectly acceptable. We found you needed to make the background display dark to avoid screen glare while you're trying to focus the camera and point the telescope and so forth. It would be nice if I could make my screen turn red on occasion, but I haven't been able to figure out the switch to do that. For minis, where you've got a small screen, enlarge the icons and fonts, remove any unneeded apps and anything that clutters the screen so you can read what you're doing. Use a stylus if your device has a touch screen. Transfer data with a memory card or USB drive as soon as you can. You don't want to try to use Wi-Fi transfer from tablets and mini computers because it's really slow. They're not that capable. And one more. Even more lessons. Everything is black. All the cables are black. All the power packs are black. The HDMI monitor is black. And a surprising number of manufacturers identify ports and buttons with black type on a black background. This is not easy in the dark. Sometimes it's raised, but still black. That's occasions, some of the equipment we have, they don't even identify the ports. So that makes it even more fun. And there's a lot of wires, and most of them are black too. And I mentioned earlier I said I had a keyboard and mouse to go with the Kangaroo system. It had a black dongle. That dongle is out in the grass somewhere in Texas. Didn't realize I had them in a little baggie. And when I started unpacking, when we got to the motel, I found the baggie had a dongle-sized hole in the side, and that's where the dongle went out. Portable monitors use a lot of power. They can be operated on AA batteries, but not for long periods, at least not on the same pack of AA batteries. You just need quite a stack of them. And Windows 10 is not designed to be a system to support science data collection. All user accounts have to have an email now and a Microsoft account. So you need to consider establishing a separate account somehow that's unattached to you for any equipment that's going to be left out in the field. There was a period when you could run stuff with local accounts, but just this month there's been an update from Microsoft that destroyed my ability to use local accounts. And I don't know why they care that much, but they will not allow you, once you have an account that's attached to Microsoft with a ID, you cannot establish a local account. If you manage to get a local account in, you can keep it if you do that before you actually attach yourself to Microsoft, but you can't add it. So I asked a question about it, and I got an answer back that they were only going to be assisting people with installing Windows 10. But that's all they said. Wait a minute, that's not my question, but
That's the problem, and that's something to do with also the Windows 10 is free for like 365 is good for 5 computers. They're talking that.
okay, yeah, they're trying to keep track of how many people have how many people have legal accounts. And yes, it was the 23rd of July when I got this update, so it's been, yeah, yeah. You discovered. Chuck Harold's having the same comments. Yes, working very well, and portable small computers and tablets using the video capture are really good. No, that's the last.
Put that camera on hardware.
Yes.
First off, we'll put it on Russ. Testing and try to find ways to work around that.
Yeah, Steve Preston says we're going to try to find some ways to work around that. We don't have a choice because that's what they're sold with. Yes, we don't have a choice about whether we use Windows 10 or not.
Yeah, that's why I loaded up on Windows 7 computers before Windows 8 came out.
Yeah, well, there's two philosophies. You can either follow the development of the operating systems as they go along, keep current, and you suffer a little pain along the way, or you can wait until you really absolutely have to update because your old systems die, and then you are required. Then you suffer a lot of pain. So it's.
One of you could walk behind the table is probably better and just point out what each thing is and how it works.
Okay, this is the Kangaroo-based OC1. This is the Kangaroo itself. I've got an external ASUS power supply. As I said, I lost the dongle to run the monitor, to run the keyboard. So this is actually the keyboard that comes from the iView, but since they're portable among all sorts of computers, yeah, it's quite nice actually. I like it, and it works fine with the Kangaroo. We were imaging the clock, but it's kind of whatever. This is the HDMI monitor, a Mighty Mini, and PC164C, which we've used for a lot of occultations, the IOTA VTI, and I got a battery pack for the IOTA VTI and the
It's like a homemade battery pack.
no, this is a lithium battery pack. David, what is this called?
It's from Super Circuits.
From Super Circuits. David buys them that way.
Yeah, they're rechargeable lithium-ion batteries.
And here is the StarTech attached to the Kangaroo. As you can see, put these up.
We need a wiring diagram.
Yeah, we'll do this in the dark. Yeah, one thing I think, decide which system you want to go with, and don't buy others, just buy one. If you want more than one setup, buy multiple copies of it. This is too hard to remember when you're tired and running around in the middle of the night. That, oh no, this one takes, and that one takes. So, yeah, having two systems was. This particular setup it's not attached to the to the monitor right now because I only have one monitor. This is the iView Intel Stick Windows 10 computer. I think its real purpose and real design purpose was to run TV systems. And in a way, I prefer this one to the Kangaroo because it is a little bit smaller. It does not have an internal battery, but it's got all the same capabilities, and it's quite robust. I think it's very nice, and as well as since it does not have an internal battery, you don't have to worry about you've got to put it in check luggage. You can't put it in check luggage. You have to put it in the carry-on. And here's a StarTech for it.
Is the check luggage an issue for the Kangaroo?
Yes, because it has an internal lithium battery.
I thought in some environments that's supposed to be okay.
Well, in Australia, it's not. They have to know though that it's got a battery. I mean, you know, that could be a question, and they have to check. But I have heard from people who've had them tell them you can't.
So no lithium battery at all, even if it's embedded in the device.
Yeah.
That's part of that. Is that fair?
And I think the Australian also have rules about any lithium battery being shipped, carried, whatever, has to be embedded in a device. You can't just have them loose.
Right. Even carry-on, or
yes.
Even in carry-on.
right. So,
But again, they.
what is the rule? What is the rule for embedded device? You can if it's embedded in the device, because the Kangaroo you could consider that embedded, right?
Yes, but you have to put it in carry-on. You can't put it in check luggage.
But any lithium batteries at all.
That's their rule. There are some countries are a little over. And again, it also depends on who's checking the luggage as you go through. You know, you've got to always have this randomness. Is it?
I'm not sure if they heard the comments about, in Australia and some other countries that no check luggage.
Yeah, we were discussing about the ability to carry lithium batteries items with lithium batteries or lithium batteries separate by themselves for powering this equipment. And in some countries, there's a lot more restrictions about it because of concerns about fire. And in Australia in particular, you could carry lithium battery powered devices if the battery is interior, embedded in the equipment, but only in your carry-on luggage. You cannot pack it in suitcases, and you cannot carry unattached lithium batteries external in anything. So.
In the United States, you can carry lithium batteries in your carry-on luggage.
In the United States, you can carry lithium batteries in your carry-on luggage, but you.
It's 150.
But there are some limits on how many and how much and what power limit. Yeah, there are limits on how many, and there are limits on power. And I don't know how manufacturers manage to ship so many from one place to another and get around all these rules, but that's not my problem. So.
Sounds like the answer is to use an IPA.
Well, they have their own problems. In fact, you can't even find them in some cases, right? So. Shows all the things that I tested the software with, and the last one was just about the display, I think. Do you want to put the last one up?
I just want to say thanks to you.
Okay.
Well, let's give Joan a wave of applause. This we want to read on this and study it because this is probably the wave of the future. You know, we're going to have really compact occultation recording systems. So thank Joan for updating us on that, and we'll all be paying attention to how that works out.